Man, oh man, was that a crazy week. This week we saw something that it seemingly was not possible. Hyliion had been falling week after week after week like a knife. People were trying to catch it and people were getting burned. But this week we saw it go crazy. We saw an increase up to 20% in the single span of a week, and it has been driving investors nuts. In today's video, I will be bringing y'all the weekly recap of what all happened with Hyliion this week. You know, every single week I like to go over a quick recap, just the news that came out, the stock action, the price action, what all happened exactly with the stock prices, what I can expect for the future weeks, and how I think certain things from this week will affect the future and will affect the stock. If you guys do want me to continue making these weekly recap videos where I take all the news from one week and just put it all into one video for the end of the week, definitely let me know by smashing that like button and commenting down in the comment section below. Before I do go on, I did want to thank you guys so much. We hit 1,000 subscribers. And it seemed like it took forever. Honestly, this is something I've been working for a really long time. But the fact that we are now here, when I look back, it's just such a crazy feeling. I will let you guys know that I do have a Q&A coming out for the 1,000 subscribers special. So definitely let me know in the comment section if you have any questions that you'd like me to ask. Anything you'd like to know about me, I will be talking about in that video, and that will be coming out either today as you watch this video or tomorrow. But with that being said, let's go ahead, let's jump into the Hyliion news, recap, and updates, and I will give you guys my predictions as well on what I believe is to come for the future of Hyliion. So Hyliion started the week on not the best note. We did see Hyliion down to $18.93 at the week start, and people thought this thing could possibly see the low teens, even the single digits. Well, on November 2nd, we saw Hyliion fall all the way down to $18.33, and honestly, even I was starting to get worried. Because you guys know I'm very bullish on Hyliion, and honestly, the price action doesn't really affect me all that much. I don't really mind it. But seeing it go past the 19 level and just keep going down, I was getting like, I don't know, maybe people are right. Maybe this thing's going to 15. But I held true. I held on to my opinion, and I really still do believe in the fundamentals of this company. And it actually clearly paid out to just hold on to this thing and keep going and keep watching it grow. On November 3rd, we did see the entire market start to really take off. We saw Hyliion take on a growth of $1.94, which was absolutely huge. This is actually one of the biggest movements up that we have seen over the course of a day in quite some time. Now, on November 4th, we did see growth of 46 cents, which is definitely not as much compared to the day before, but it was still very significant in that this was the very first time since the end of September that we saw this stock grow in price 2 days in a row. It's been dropping every day pretty much, except for 1 day spans for over a month now. So seeing it go up and be in the green for 2 days in a row was very significant because we were really starting to see a bit of a turnaround. Now, on November 5th, we did see the biggest movement that we have seen from Hyliion in a really long time, and we saw it grow $2.41, which clearly marks the biggest move up that we saw this week. Now, that's 3 days in a row that we saw Hyliion grow, and that's just not even seen with Hyliion at this point. Ever since the end of September, the middle of September, we saw this thing drop, take a day where it maybe went up, and then continue to drop from there. The shorters were really pushing this thing down, but we can clearly tell that the shorters are having a lot less success, and that the broad market is starting to take over with this company and hopefully start to push this thing back up. Now, on the last day of the week, we did see Hyliion take a loss of about 81 cents, which is still pretty significant, but with the overall growth that we saw over the week, it was not surprising to say the least. I really did believe that seeing it continue to go up on Friday would have been pretty unlikely, and if we did see it go up that high on Friday, we would see it crash on Monday. So honestly, the fact that it did take a little bit of a break, it slowed down a little bit, and it didn't keep shooting up too fast, I feel like that means it's still healthy, it's still moving relatively naturally, and so hopefully it will be very interesting to see where this stock price does move to in the beginning of next week. Now, this does mean that over the course of this week, we saw Hyliion growth at $3.77 in the course of 1 week. Now, mind you, the fact that this thing started out at $18 or a little bit above $18, the fact that we saw almost a $4 growth in the span of 1 week is absolutely insane. This does mean that we saw Hyliion grow at 19.92% in 1 week, almost 20% in 1 week. Now, okay, the whole market was doing pretty well, which is kind of weird considering that the elections were so shaky. We did see a lot of different sectors doing pretty well, but even whenever you look at companies like Apple, their growth was about 7% this week. So seeing Hyliion pushing up 20%, it's very clear. It shows that what we've been talking about, especially over the last weeks, that this stock is very volatile and very extreme right now. I said this in the last couple of videos, and I'll say it again. When this thing moves good, it moves big. When this thing moves bad, it moves big. Wherever direction is going, it's going to shoot in that direction. And so hopefully now that we are seeing a little bit of a change in momentum, that we will continue to see this thing grow at exponential rates. Maybe not just as fast as it did last time, but definitely with some speed and, going into the end of this year. Now, some of this was also fueled by a press conference that was held by Thomas Healy. Now, this was the main topic of my last video, so if you do want in-depth details about what exactly he talked about, definitely go check that out. But in a broad sense, he talked about what Hyliion is all about, what the product is about. He introduced himself and gave the location of Hyliion and just kind of went into depth about what exactly the company does. Now, I do believe that this was a very good thing that he could have done because he wasn't really addressing this negativity that was circling around Hyliion. He was not focused on the stock price. He wasn't worried about the naysayers. He was simply focusing on addressing what his product is, what his company is, and what potential it can bring to change the world. Now, once again, I talked about in the last video, I absolutely love that about Thomas Healy. He's not focusing about the drama and he's not all about the rah-rah that's going on, with Twitter and Hyliion. He's simply focused on making his product the best product possible, and I absolutely love that. I admire that about him, and I really think that that's going to guide Hyliion into having a lot of success in the future. Now, I also did speak in my last video about the fact that I do believe that this press conference was centered around new investors. It seemed like he knew that a lot of new investors were around right now. Hyliion had been getting a lot of attention, and there was a lot of new eyes on Hyliion, and so what he did was he went ahead and addressed the new investors, and I feel like that was a very good way of kind of, balancing out all the negativity that had been circulating around the stock price, being like, look, okay, I understand the stock price is falling, but look at this product and look at the potential it has and look at the results that we have. So again, I do believe that this also did play a factor in why the stock did amazing this week, because it somewhat kind of started to cancel out all that negativity and broke that negative momentum that we were seeing over the last couple of weeks. Now, we also did see that Joe Biden was elected as president. Now, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, I feel like it can all be agreed upon that for the electric vehicle market, his views on it can be somewhat beneficial to the EV market simply for the fact that they tend to favor more like renewable gases and electricity and all those different types of things. They tend to not focus like the oil and gas field. And so the fact that he's now president, and we will start to see, in my opinion, a lot more legislation circled around this industry. We saw California starting to put out things about getting EV cars into the market. And I feel like with Joe Biden as president, this could definitely benefit and be beneficial to Hyliion because those, the legal legislation that could come out could definitely add some type of, political and legal, factors and advantages to the company itself. Some smaller news we did see, we saw Jim Cramer say that it's coming to me. And now the reason he did go ahead and say that was because with Hyliion, whenever he previously talked about it, whenever it was up in like the 28 mark, he was basically saying Hyliion's really good, their company's good, I love their executive, everything, but I feel like the stock price is too high. Whenever it hits 20, that's when I'm more interested to buy. My advice, and this is what he said, he was like, my advice to Hyliion is to just let it come to you. And as the stock price was falling earlier this week, he did go ahead and he posted, let it come to you. And I feel like that also could have generated some good momentum for the stock. Now, whether you like it or not, Jim Cramer does have, his say-so in the stock market. He does have some type of influence. And I feel like when he said this $20 mark, he was the, one of the top tier analysts that did say that $20 mark. And it seemed like it almost gave the last push to just shove this thing down for the shorters. They were really having a lot of success, and I feel like the things he was saying about it needing to go to $20 and all that really played its own factor, and it played its own weight in getting it down there. Now, I know there's a lot of conspiracies, and I really don't know if I agree with all of it, but it is just what the news is, and I like to just update you guys on what the news and all the drama is about. But he did go ahead and say that it's coming to me, so it seems like he was interested in buying it himself. Once again, he is a supporter of their idea, their concept, and their business strategy, but he wanted a better buying opportunity, and it seems like that buying opportunity did present itself to him earlier this week. Now, I do believe that this could be the signal for a very, very strong bullish run for Hyliion. Now, of course, you never know with the stock market, you never know what's going to happen next week. But I do believe that with everything going on, we are starting to be perfectly set up to see this thing start to grow again. It did kind of even out in the same place that it evened out in June and July, where it really traded sideways for quite some time before it had its run up. And I do believe that with everything going on, that the momentum is going to start to change. I do think the shorters are going to start to get out of this stock. I've been saying it for weeks that once they are once they're not so successful with this stock, and once they're not having so much success just beating this thing to the ground, they're gonna find something else to do. They're gonna find another company to murder, and they're gonna find another stock price to drill to the ground. Because whenever it comes to shorters, if they are not having much success and they're seeing this stock price just keep going up and up, they're gonna get out. They're not gonna keep putting all this money in and keep taking these risks on a company or a stock price that's not going to give them the reward and the result that they want. So I do believe that these short sharks are going to really start to get out. Hopefully next week they continue to not have so much success and we really see the true investors and the really, the big Hyliion supporters start to take over and start to build this stock price up. I hope you guys did enjoy that recap. I love making these recaps just because it makes it super easy to put all of this info into one video. If you do appreciate that, if you do support my channel, and if you do just want to let me know anything, let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, you could let me know by smashing that like button. And if you do want to support my channel, if you want to support me, show your appreciation or anything like that, you can press that subscribe button. Of course, we just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, so don't forget to leave me a comment down below letting me know a question you might want to know or anything that you would like to be featured in that video, and I will be making sure that I get it in there. But until then, I will see you guys next up on the 1,000 subscriber special, and I'll see you next time. Peace.